Hey guys, Rusty K, Rusty K's Rad Rod's Garage. Wanted to make this video in response to Todd H's question on why I made my YouTube channel and how long ago that was. It was back in March of 2014 is when I launched my channel. And that's really when I started making models. I did a few when I was a kid, but not really. The reason I even got into this was, and I think I've told this story before, that my son was 14, and all he wanted to do was play on the Xbox. So I'm trying to find something that I can get him off the Xbox and him and I can do together. And I did a few models when I was a kid, but nothing extensive. So I went out and bought a model kit. It was a Dodge Viper. I don't even have that one still. There was a Dodge Viper. I went out and got the basic kits, and we sat down, started doing it, and he lasted all of 20 minutes and was back on the Xbox. But I stayed with it, finished it up, and had a heck of a time. And I thought there's got to be a better way to do this. I've got to be doing something wrong. So at that point, I started searching YouTube and came across this community that didn't know existed. And the advice and the tutelage I've gotten from these videos has gone a long way. And that's sort of what made me decide to create my first video. And I think I might put a link to that in my description here if you want to go back and see my very first video. The funny thing is some of the struggles I had throughout the first 3 or 4 videos that I made are still some of the struggles I had today, but a little bit more advanced. So the first car I did on that channel was a '69 Camaro, and I still have it, but it's just sort of sitting up there. It didn't come out great, but the things that I learned doing this were invaluable. The paint is flat, all sorts of orange peel. I didn't get into any of that. Matter of fact, when I picked this up to bring it over here, the back end fell off. But it sits on my shelf just as a reminder of everything. This was my first bare metal foil attempt, all these things. And then I watched a lot of Chris Chapman, and he was using those craft acrylics. And then I got into this one, and you can see on the build, this is just a craft acrylics, but it was my first real, shiny build, I guess. But you can see I put the front end on backwards and didn't even know when I did it. So I could pop this off and reverse it, but this sits up there as a reminder. Bare metal foil got a little better on this one. But this was just all with those craft acrylics with windshield wiper. And Chris Chapman got me into this. But it was funny. I was this morning before I decided to make this video, I was going back and looking at probably a half a dozen of my first videos, and it's funny when you go back and look at those. But the reason I made my channel was I've got there's nobody else to show these models to. They sit here, and I saw everybody else sharing their progress and sharing some of the stuff that they did, and I figured, well, my wife doesn't really care, so who am I going to show these to? So, and the advice that I had gotten over those years with Chris Chapman, Chris at Classic Plastic, Dr. Cranky, made great friends throughout the community. Todd H. and I are still friends to this day and talk quite often. And so the friendship in the community, I did take a 3-year hiatus back in probably 2018, 2019, I can't remember. Got burnt out, some life things going on with work, just, sort of put it aside. I tore the bench down, put everything aside, and took a long break. And then I've been back pretty strong for about a year now, and really enjoying the process again. So, Todd, I hope that answers your question. It was fun to go back down memory lane and look at some of my old videos and seeing some of the stuff that I tried to do back then and some of the struggles I still have today. But Todd H., I appreciate you asking the question in the community, and this community is strong, and whether we come and go throughout the period, the community will always be back here with some, I've gained a lot of new subscribers, and some of you guys have still been around after all this time. So we appreciate every single one of you, and keep building, stay strong.